What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Underground Community Podcast. Um, we're gonna go ahead and jump right into it. We're gonna talk about voting. It is October 18th, 2020. As of today, and voting is looking like it's going to be early voting in specific. It is going very well. There's a lot of people voting. This is definitely going to be the highest turnout ever. With how it's going already, breaking records for voting in that aspect, and it's going to be pretty crazy to see how many people in total vote. And it's good. I think it's great. I think people are aware and they want to vote, and they want to get out there and make a change, and hopefully that can happen. So yeah, if you haven't voted already, go ahead and do that. If you haven't registered to vote, it's too late.
Yeah.
Maybe in the next election, but yeah. So whoever voted, good job. I think we're gonna vote this week, sometime this week. So that'll be lit. What do y'all think about that, though? I mean, I think it's like Harris County had like 600,000 people.
Yeah, a little over 600,000 people voted early ballot votes.
Early ballot votes, and that's more than the population of Vermont. It's really crazy.
It's pretty impressive.
Great numbers. That's just early voting, so it's been packed here in Brazos County, and we're one of the smaller counties in Texas, but we have a lot of people voting, so that's great.
The Republicans tried to voter suppress so hard that the court struck it down when they tried to reduce the number of mail-in ballot drop-off locations.
Yeah.
They tried to reduce it to one in the entire Harris County.
One, literally.
And the court actually struck that down.
Well,
That's
in
like
Texas, not just Harris County.
Yeah. For each county in Texas, yeah.
Each county in Texas.
But like Harris County had like 10 or 12 like drop-off spots, and they're gonna have that reduced to one. And Harris County has like
think about how hectic.
Over.
Oh my gosh!
Like 3 million people.
I have 14 in Madison. Like, Harris County has 8 times the number of people. That's insane.
Yeah, like what?
What's the population of Madison? Like 300,000.
Dane County has 550,000. Harris County has like 4 mil.
No, just think about they really tried to suppress the vote so hard that it got that even the courts were like, nah, you can't get away. You can't do this.
Yeah.
Right. The thing is, I think we're a liberal country. People think we're conservative. We're a liberal country. Democrats win if voter turnout's high. Leftists really win if voter turnout's high. Joe Biden's now leftist, but this is for future elections. Leftists win if voter turnout's high. Democrats beat Republicans if voter turnout's high. So this is super encouraging. I've seen in Wisconsin, which is a swing state, where I live, there already 800,000 votes have been counted. 1.3 million have been sent out. Ballots have been sent out. This is disregarding in-person ballots. The state only has 4.3 million voting age people, and mail-in ballots favor Biden to a 75 to 25% ratio. That means 2.1 million out of the 4.3 million voting age people have basically are definitely voting. And in that 2.1 million category, that's 75-25 Biden. And that's with like a 2 to 3% margin of error within the polling. But not to say this isn't over. People still need to go out, vote, phone bank, really drive home the fact that we need to vote. But it's super encouraging.
Yeah. It's a great, and I think, I think social media is at an all-time high. I think it's great to get younger people involved. I think a lot of people want to be involved. I think a lot of people can see, that they're being lied to, and that, there's a lot of people are being I hate to use the term woke, but they're being woken up to what's really happening and what's going on, because you didn't see it before, like, and no one was really involved, and everything, and the Republicans try to just be like, okay, like, if no one can see it, then, like, it's fine, like, no change will come, and that's great. That's what they want. But to see that it's at like an all-time high, and that it's starting to get more like momentum in voting, and more involvement from younger people and younger generations, I think it's great to see that for the future. So
yeah, no, I think it's good. Where you see a lot of political engagement as far as voting wise. I think that's pretty good. But I just want people just to keep this up, not only with national elections, because national elections are all over social media, all over TV, and so people are getting more engaged. But keep this up for local and state elections. Those are just as important as national elections.
Yeah.
So,
if not more important, because it affects your community more.
Right, it affects the community you live in. So I just want people to realize that, hey, it's not over. Like, there's still more elections even after this presidential election. So
yeah,
I just want people to just stay engaged in pretty much every election that you can vote in. So
yeah, know who you're putting in positions, and putting in seats into the White and into Washington, because those are the senators and the representatives who are going to represent you and what you believe in Washington. And if you have a Republican Senate, or whatever whatever you lean, and your ideas, they're going to vote that way, because they believe in that. So you gotta try to do that as well, and try to align it with that, and just do your research, do your homework, look these things up. It doesn't take that much time. You can look at it. I think it's like Ballotpedia. I think that's what it's called.
Ballotopedia.
Ballotopedia, yeah.
I'm gonna be.
That one's a good one. It'll show you exactly, if you like type in, what I think it's like what county you're from. I think it'll give you all of like what who you're voting for. And so don't just go in with the mindset of, okay, I'm gonna vote for this president, and then that's it, and then just autofill everything else, because that's hurting other people, and it might not be what you want to do as well. You just don't know it.
Yeah, just be informed about who you vote for, man. Just try to research as much as possible. Try to be engaged in as many elections as possible, and that's really all we can really ask. So
I'm gonna be realistic. If everyone votes, this is why Republicans are so against it. If everyone votes, we would have a much more liberal country.
yeah.
Even the most conservative places would not be as conservative as they are if everyone votes. If everyone votes, the Republicans we'd see now in like North Dakota and places would have to shift to the left to a varying degree, and the Democrats would really have to shift to the left over time. As a country, we get only about 50 to 60% voter turnout. It's disproportionately older, whiter people. Part of that's because of voter suppression. Of course, like, I'm not going to necessarily blame individuals for collective failures, but statistically speaking, if everyone votes, everywhere goes blue, and eventually everything shifts to the left. And if you're younger, that's super important, given that we have a range of issues such as climate change and healthcare and college debt forgiveness that we have to look towards. So I'm not even gonna say like I don't care who you vote for line on this. I'm gonna say straight up, if you want society to progress, if you want to make sure that we're not completely left for dead in terms of climate change, if you want some form of racial or economic equity, if you want there to be economic. If you want America to catch up to the rest of the developed world in terms of infrastructure and economic growth, voting is not everything, but it's super important because we actually can make impactful change, especially as Steve and Caleb said at the local levels. There's so many small seats, such as state assembly, city council, everything down to secretary of state and clerks. Those are the people that run elections. Those are the people that make all this small stuff move. Those are the people that inflict or relieve voter suppression. And they don't get voted on a lot. Their seats were only, especially in election cycles such as the 2021 cycle, what will come up in 2022, 2023. Those are cycles in which potentially in local elections, only 1,000 to 2,000 people vote on them. One vote could have a huge difference. If you mobilize enough people up into the hundreds and thousands, that can have a ridiculous difference on local politics. So I'm not going to act like I'm claiming neutrality on this. While there needs to be other forms of direct action, voting is something in which if we all do it, everything's going to progress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it's part of the process just because you have to have a point from which you can leverage from, and if you have this, quite frankly, if you have, extremely conservative Republican leadership on every level, from the president on down to local, it's just gonna.
That's the way it's gonna lean.
It's just gonna be the same. It's just gonna be the same cycle that really will be harder to break by direct action than if you elect people who not only represent your values, but also you believe that you can affect with direct action and mobilizing the people, their constituents.
Yeah.
So, definitely, it's the most important work is always yet to come. But it's definitely, you just have to choose, it's a choice under which leadership are you going to try to leverage from? Are you going to try to push for change from? So, yeah, just go out there and, cast your ballots, and then the real work's after that. Apply pressure, organize, mobilize, pay attention to any, progressive challengers to a down ballot seat near you,
Yeah.
Get involved.
These are great points, everybody's making.
There's...
And the first step is voting, but to be honest, that it's not over after that. You
Not even
can't
close.
say it in major. It's about mobilizing. It's about assembling. You just get in groups. Text your friends, text your family members. Email politicians. Put pressure on politicians. If they don't do something that you don't agree with, let them know about it. I've done that. I've emailed a couple of politicians. Chance has. Pretty sure Major has. It's just not about voting. Voting is just one step of the process.
Yeah, and I'm fairly new into politics, and I didn't, I was way more into sports, and when I started talking about politics with Steve and Chance, I didn't really know much about it, and Major. That's what made me want to do this podcast, and that's what made me want to encourage more people to do the same things that I was learning how to do, and I need to be more involved. I know that, and so I'm gonna try to make that effort as well, and so I try to listen to them as much as possible to kind of just learn more about the whole process of being more involved and trying to make actual change, because a lot of these things people don't know because they don't want you to know. They don't want you to know how to make real change. Because they want to keep you quiet on a lot of these things. and they want less government. They want less people involved in decision making and in big decisions that they make. And I think that we need to be more involved in some of these big decisions that we're making. So, I mean, that's the true thing of democracy. They're trying to take that away. So,
and Major made a good point when he said the more people that actually go out and vote, the more the Republicans won't come in office.
yeah,
Number one is because they're if you just look at the polls, their ideas they're not popular. Like the NRA,
They're outdated.
yeah, they're outdated.
Yeah.
The NRA members, 93% of NRA members want background checks, but
yeah.
the NRA, established the officials don't. And so they fund the politicians, and we can't even get a simple background check passed.
Yeah.
Like, pretty much, I think it's up to like 98, almost 99%. Basically, everybody in the country agrees on background checks. Why can't we get that passed?
Yeah.
So it's just things like that. That if people realize the power and realize we have the power, we have the strength in numbers. So if you actually apply pressure to these positions, we can get things done and get things passed that we want to, that are popular.
And
The minorities ruling right now. Like, I think when you look at in terms of popular vote, only 25% of the country voted for Trump last election.
Right.
So you take the 50% that didn't vote, that's potentially higher, maybe like 52, 53. Maybe not all of that would have gone blue, but
Most of it.
a lot of, if we just turn out in greater numbers, it's not going to solve everything. But I think a lot of the ideas in America, as Steven said, are a lot of more progressive ideas are popular. Medicare for all is 60% popularity. Legalizing weed is through the roof.
It's
Very basic.
I think it's like at 80% now.
Yeah, it's like over 75%. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Very basic, like, things that are seen as far left are actually very middle of the line for Americans. And I think that also needs to be present even if someone like Biden wins. That needs to be present when people go out. I think the protests will be at a similar fervor, especially with younger people. Now that you have movements such as the Sunrise Movement and other like climate activist movements, I think they're going to put pressure on Biden. I think Black Lives Matter will still probably put pressure on Biden, even if it's not coming from the not the top, but some of its founders. I think they're going to put pressure on Biden, and we're going to see liberals that were hating on Trump, like more establishment liberals that are mad at the people that are protesting. I know if people are out here protesting Biden or any like establishment Democrat throughout the next year, I'm going to try and join them because at the end of the day, there needs to be pressure on them. Biden needs pressure because he's a conservative Democrat.
Yeah. Exactly.
He's a moderate Republican.
Right. Your influence over the people you vote for is terminated as long as as your action stops after you cast your vote.
Yeah.
So, like, that's really the key. Is like, if these people can get your vote and then receive no pressure, no type of real dissent, then they're not going to have much of an incentive to prove anything to you or concede to any of your ideas. And that's pretty much what we've had for the last 30 years. A little more than that. It's just been
Is getting comfortable
it
after
matter.
the vote.
Yeah, it doesn't matter
after they put him in office.
It doesn't matter Republican or Democrat. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's been the same neoliberal policy for decades. We've had the same, same trade policy, branded different times for decades. We've had the same, policy towards the environment for decades, just rebranded, I mean, and it's like it just, under Republicans, it just gets like, more out there, with how egregious some of the things can be, like, something basic like pulling out of the Paris Climate Accord, or, and just straight up denying climate change or something like that. But I mean, even when Democrats are in office. The key is to keep applying pressure. Otherwise we're going to get the same centrist policy that enables somebody from the right to come in and try to do a fake populist campaign, and garner support, which is effectively what happened with Trump. So we really need actual.
And that's the pattern we'd follow if this happens.
Left-wing populist ideas are pretty popular. And so there's a lot of power to be yielded by the masses. And so really the key is, I think Biden's in a pretty good position to win.
Great.
Pretty solid position to win. But the key is that's not even close to the end game. That's the starting point from which we then, keep applying pressure, because we really we didn't get what we needed, but I mean, it's what we have. And so just keep applying pressure, and hopefully we can make the best out of what we have and mitigating some of the damage that we're going to be dealt with in the next 4 years. I mean, I think it's going to be there's going to be a lot. I mean, there's a looming economic recession. There's a looming climate catastrophe. I mean, there's a lot to be dealt with, and I mean, we just have to try to keep fighting for whatever good change we can get.
I think protests are definitely gonna continue, because before like Corona and the economic downturn that's taking place, like Americans, we're pretty distracted. We have all these streaming services, social media, people working, and so organizing and protesting wasn't really like the first thing that came to our minds. Mm-hmm. But with Corona and people being out of jobs and people being in despair, I think that's an extra battery in our back. Like I just don't think it's with the George Floyd protests, obviously they were protesting police brutality, but I think, and especially with other people that weren't black that were out there, I think in part was probably because they lost their jobs that
Right.
they were out there.
Yeah.
They wanted to find something to protest about. So I don't think protests will stop after this.
No.
That's my hope. And people are upset, man, right now. They're not reaping the benefits.
I mean, when they get one $1,200 check,
Yeah.
and some rinky-dink unemployment benefits,
Yeah.
which those aren't even benefits. Those are like
It's
they try to make it sound better
It's
than
just-
it is.
it's
Like,
just- it's
oh,
just-
like we're benefiting you.
it's just
Nah.
it's just coping money. Like, bro, that's
Yeah.
nothing, bro.
Yeah.
And when we can't get any stimulus passed, and there's multiple stimulus bills on the table,
Yeah.
and Trump says he's willing to sign, even though he's been back and forth,
Yeah.
not saying he's willing to sign, but Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker of the House, said she doesn't want to do it, and everyone knows that follows politics. The reason she doesn't want to do it is because of political reasons. She thinks if she signs the bill, that will help Trump in the election, because Americans have received checks and they'll think he'll go up in the polls.
Yeah.
But if that's your first thought, and your first thought's not helping the American people that are in dire need,
Yeah.
that's that's definitely problematic, and that's basically what we're talking about: assembly and applying pressure to politicians and making your voice heard. So
Shaheed for change.
for change.
Shaheed for change. Shaheed. Get Pelosi out of there and get a progressive Speaker of the House, maybe. I mean,
That might
I think-
help people.
who
I
knows,
don't know.
man? Who knows?
I think you challenge, you do down ballot challenges, and slowly make the House progressive. AOC needs to take Schumer's seat. She needs to go to the Senate. Just
she needs to go to the
unseat Schumer's. To me, he's a lot sadder than Pelosi. Schumer is sadder than Pelosi to me, because
Chuck
Schumer's
Schumer's
just
just weak.
sorry.
Yeah,
Like,
he's
Yeah,
just-
Chuck
Schumer-
Schumer's
you know what I mean?
weak.
He is
Like,
weak.
he not only has terrible policy ideas and beliefs,
Yeah.
and just extremely bought.
Yeah.
He doesn't fight on anything, and he won't fight on anything.
It's
Yeah.
like he's just as
I
bad.
think
Like,
Pelosi's,
Policy-wise, it's
speakers
Pelosi.
of speakers of the House are historically like not great. So if you look at Democrat Speaker of the Houses, she's probably the best one in a while. Just because look historically, like they're not great.
Yeah.
Schumer's not even the best in his category as like the Senate minority or majority leader. Like Harry Reid was better than him. He's terrible at his job. He needs to be unseated.
Yeah.
Like I think AOC can unseat him. She's the most popular politician outside
Coming
of
for your
Bernie,
head, Chuck
really.
Schumer. Better be ready.
He has more Twitter followers than Joe Biden.
Yeah.
That doesn't win you an election, but that helps you a lot when you're running for a Senate seat.
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, primary these Dems that have been in here forever and are just, passing the same old bland milquetoast neoliberal policy we've seen. I mean, primary them. I mean, if there's good people, set up a campaign, primary them. I mean, we really
either primary them or force them to actually like change their positions to where they have to vote more progressive to stay.
Yeah,
one of the two options.
I guess if they had a progressive enough, if they were like had the,
We'd have to have the numbers in the.
you would have that,
in Congress, so I feel like it'd be easier primary.
and they'd still have to be under the threat of being challenged too.
Yeah.
Like if they didn't concede on things,
Yeah. I don't think it's an either or. I think both can happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you may not be able to primary all of them, but you can force some.
Yeah, realistically, I mean, you probably just logistically probably can't, but
no, you can primary all of them. You may not win all of them at the same time, but if you build up a significant enough block, you probably force a couple people left.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah, you should try and primary everyone though. I'm not against it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's
What did you say?
transition straight over. It's gonna be a pretty crazy transition. But Lakers chip, Major, you said that Kawhi Leonard was the greatest player on the planet.
You said he was the second coming of Michael Jordan.
You get a whole episode on this.
You said that PG was gonna take him to the promised land.
I never said PG was.
You said
I
PG was
never-
the second. Was the greatest second option since Scottie Pippen, and he might be better than Scottie Pippen.
I've never
You
praised
said-
Paul George.
You said.
I said, there's clips of me saying, stick Paul George in the corner and let him average 15 hit open threes and play defense.
I don't
I've
even
never
think
had
he could
respect
do
for
that.
And he was sitting in the corner hitting backboard.
Hit corner threes. He was hitting the side of the backboard.
Yeah, he
That's
was
all
sitting in the
was
corner.
like-
He's sitting outside of the backboard.
Yeah, I thought he would be able to do that. Obviously, he can't. I don't know what, like,
Pandemic P.
I've never had respect for Paul George.
Yeah, playoff P turned into pandemic P.
Ever since I've seen LeBron blow by him, ever since I saw LeBron take one dribble again, open layup for a game winner in 2013.
Against the Pacers.
Bro, I remember that.
Left hand
That
layup.
was the easiest game winner I've ever seen in my life.
He literally dribbled.
I never done that.
Left-handed
Caught the ball at the elbow.
Yes.
PG ran up on him, blew right past him. and
Left-handed
shot a
layup.
Oh man,
Bro, that
I
was
think
such
I
a
could-
funny team. That Pacers team with David West and Roy Hibbert
And Lance Stevens.
and Lance Stevenson.
and
That team,
broke Danny Granger.
yeah, they had Danny Granger. They had Danny Granger, PG,
Roy Hibbert.
Roy
Who's their
Hibbert,
point guard? Was
David
George Hill
West,
the point guard?
George Hill.
Oh,
George Hill is the point guard.
God, that's
Lance Stevenson blowing in LeBron's ear.
Bro, that's literally Derrick Rose getting injured really affected NBA ratings because no matter if the Pacers took the Heat to 7 like they did, no one cared enough to watch the Indiana Pacers take L's to the Miami Heat. Like there was no hope with that. There's no hope that the Pacers were winning. I remember as like a 12-year-old, I was like, man, the Pacers are going to lose even if they go 7. Like there's no hope with them.
Yeah, there's just...
Like at least I remember with Derrick Rose, there was like if Derrick Rose took him to 7, he didn't, but like let's say the Bulls did, even if the Bulls lost, there would be a hope that they have like a superstar. No one was like no one cared enough to watch Paul George at that time.
All right, so who do you think's favorite to win next year? Besides the well, I mean, obviously the Lakers are favorite to win next year just because they won this year.
Well, who do you think the favorite is?
Who I think?
I don't even know.
Major?
I don't even know. I can't. I think realistically, it's probably Lakers or Nets. I'm still gonna root for the Clippers. I'm ready to see if Kawhi and they can either trade Paul George or make him like care.
Yeah.
But so
as of
really
now,
hoping
I don't
Clippers
think
can
the
get
Clippers.
together,
As of now, I don't think the Clippers are going to be better than the Warriors.
I'll see. I don't know. I'm there. I don't have a lot of faith in them at all.
Yeah, like after
They're
watching that, like it's
painful. They're painful. I can't even I want them to do well, but right now it's probably the Lakers or Nets that probably have the best chance. But we'll see.
I think the
I'm just not gonna count the Clippers out because I'm a Kawhi fan, so I can't do that. But painful.
Yeah, no, I think the Warriors have the second best chance in Vegas to
Behind the
win chip.
You don't
Really?
think the Nets have a better chance than the Warriors?
Yeah, I think the Nets have a better chance just because they're in the East.
You said the second best chance behind the Lakers.
No, I said
no, according to Vegas.
according to Vegas.
Okay. That makes sense because they could get Wiseman possibly.
I think it was either the Clippers or the Bucks were third, which I don't get why the Bucks are still so high.
Dude, like I just don't understand.
They're not even in my top 5.
The Bucks are
Dude,
getting worse
if
every
Aaron
year.
Gordon was playing in that Magic series versus the Bucks, they probably would have lost. The Bucks probably would have lost.
The odds are
They might have lost.
the odds are Lakers
Yeah.
first, Clippers second, Bucks third, Warriors fourth,
Oh, shit,
Nets
they changed.
fifth.
Damn, they changed. Because last week Warriors were second. Like right after the Lakers won, the Warriors were second. Well, probably because Ty Lue got hired as a coach,
Yeah.
which
They got
I don't
the
get
Bucks.
why. I don't get why.
They got the Bucks, bro. The
Why
Bucks
would-
aren't going anywhere.
why
When are
would
people
they-
going to learn the Bucks aren't going
The
anywhere?
Clippers
understand
don't
with the
need another
Bucks.
chill dude.
What?
They don't need another chill dude. They don't need another super chill dude. Like Ty Lue is not the coach for the Clippers.
Bro,
You
people
need,
are
like-
hyping up that hire. I'm like, I'm not. It was like I don't really care about Ty Lue being the coach. Like, he was on the staff when they blew a 3-1 lead.
And also, like, Doc Rivers was too chill with them. Like, Doc Rivers doesn't practice. You need someone that's like, yo, we're going to practice a lot. We're going to, like, instill a regiment into this team in some fashion.
Make Kawhi play games.
They were without Aaron Gordon and Jonathan Isaac.
Yeah.
If they would have had
Playing
Aaron
games.
Gordon and Jonathan Isaac,
I think it
Right.
goes 7.
it goes 7. That series goes 7, and the Bucks possibly get
Bounced out.
touted out in the first round, bro, with the best record in the NBA.
No, the Bucks are a fraud.
Bro, they got the best
in the
record in the
MVP, like come on.
I mean, Giannis
and the
is,
MVP.
Giannis is beating up on the Pacers, beating up on the Blake Griffin
Pistons.
like blowing out the
Don't
Chicago
disrespect-
Bulls,
don't
and
disrespect that.
people are overhyping them.
Yeah.
Fuck out of here, bro.
Don't disrespect Derrick Rose like that.
Derrick Rose is not. Yeah, shit. The Pistons are terrible. You know that. Everybody knows that.
They are. But I'm not going to take Derrick Rose disrespect.
That's not disrespecting Derrick Rose. The Pistons are just ass.
Derrick Rose is a great player, but
Like, it has nothing to do with Derrick
Bro,
Rose.
they should have. Honestly, like, if I were the Pistons, I would just play them like 35 minutes a night for the ratings.
All right,
anytime I was on ESPN,
His knees
like
can't handle
3
it.
ESPN appearances.
if Derrick Rose goes to the Lakers, you have to be a Lakers fan.
That's two
I'm-
Chicago dudes on
That's
one
two
team.
Chicago dudes on one team.
Him and AD.
I'm an Derrick Rose fan. I wouldn't be a Lakers fan.
Nah.
No, but you would have to root for the Lakers.
I'd have to root for Derrick Rose. If the Lakers do well, I'd be happy for Derrick Rose, not for the Lakers. He was on the Cavs for like
Yeah, but he was
Yeah.
the only Chicago dude on the Cavs. Now you have two Chicago guys on the Lakers.
Dwayne Wade was on the Cavs at the time too. It's two Chicago dudes.
Yeah, but he got traded mid-season.
So Derrick Rose. Bro, I was a Derrick Rose fan when he was on the Knicks. I wasn't a Knicks fan.
You weren't a Derrick Rose fan when he was with Memphis.
Yes, I've always been a Derrick Rose believer. When he was down, when he came back from Chicago and people were like, "Yo, he's done for," I was like, "Bro, you don't watch the games. You don't see him making all the right reads and doing all the right things." And people were like, "Nah, he's done for. Like he's washed. They need to trade him." And I was like, "No, they need to keep him because he's actually still a great point guard who makes all the right reads." People wouldn't listen to me then. They wouldn't
I
listen
don't
to
know.
me when
I still
said
feel like
he
I feel like he was overrated whenever he was in his prime.
Bro,
I'm just kidding.
Are you still on the LeBron should have won the MVP?
Yeah, Major. Caleb said that LeBron, the year D Rose won his MVP, he said, and I quote, "LeBron was robbed of MVP that year."
I did say that.
Bro,
And you
Derrick
said his
Rose,
stats were way better.
but
when
Derrick
you looked it up.
Rose-
They
I
were
didn't say
not
way better. I said they were
Yeah.
better. I said they were better.
No, you said way better.
I might have said way
Explain
better for
something.
exaggeration.
Derrick Rose is someone you have to watch play because his stats are never great. Like a lot of his assists are hockey assists. Even after the ACL tear, people would complain about Derrick Rose because his stats would be like he'd average like 18 a game with like 6 assists, and they'd be like, "Oh, he's trash," But Derrick Rose's play isn't in the stats; it's how he affects other aspects. So he always, even when he's a 6-man, he's a 6-man now. He draws so much attention from the defense, and he makes the correct reads to where his assists, he may not get the assist, but he made the right pass to get someone there. So in his MVP season, the way he made his teammates better,
LeBron's played like that his whole career. LeBron's known for that.
Keith Bogans and Ronnie Brewer were viable offensive options. Carlos Boozer was his second best player, and he was out half the season.
Yeah,
Joakim
yeah.
Noah was out a third of the season.
Yeah, no. I
Tom
give him
Thibodeau-
credit. I mean,
Not
no.
his second
Tom
best
Thibodeau-
option, bro. No, stop it.
Tom Thibodeau was playing Luol Deng and Derrick
Luol
Rose
Deng
like
was the
45
second.
minutes.
Was the
a game.
second option.
Who?
Luol Deng.
But Luol Deng was hurt a quarter of the. Carlos Boozer and Luol Deng were the 2 second options, and they were hurt a lot. Derrick Rose was out here playing all 82 games, carrying Keith Bogans, Ronnie Brewer, and occasionally Kyle Korver. Rip Hamilton was supposed to be there, but Rip Hamilton, that may have been the year after. Rip Hamilton stayed hurt. He was carrying a bunch of
He
people.
was probably like 83 and then.
Bro, Rick Hamilton, bro. He had that old man game, bro.
Yeah.
He did.
Middies.
He's running off screens to get middies. Like he doesn't even.
My point.
It's 2011. He's running off screens
Getting-
getting middies. He's getting 50. He's running off screens to get
Get
15
elbow
footers.
jumpers. Yeah, not even elbow jumpers.
Yeah, not even elbow jumpers.
My-
He's shooting 15 footers.
Bro,
Middle of the
Omer-
lane.
Middle of the lane.
Omer, I remember watching those games, and Omer Sheik was getting like 30 minutes a night.
Oh
And you're
my
telling me
God.
that dude MVP after he dragged that team to 60 wins and had people believing that he could at least like get LeBron to a game 6? Come on. Omer Sheik was getting major minutes on that team. I didn't know how bad. Derrick Rose is such a good like leader and point guard. You had to watch the games and not look at solely stats. I didn't know how bad Omer Sheik, Keith Bogans, and Ronnie Brewer were.
Omer
Sheik, bro.
I'm not gonna let you disrespect Ronnie Brewer like that. Ronnie Brewer was a solid player when he in his prime. He was solid.
Bro, Omer and Sheik was hilarious. I remember he bounced around. He went to Houston at one point.
He went to the Thunder, and he was on the bench. Ronnie Brewer never played when he's on the Thunder, bro.
Hashim Thabit.
Derrick Rose was such
Oh
a
my
good
God.
point guard.
Remember,
He was
KD
giving
had
Ronnie
Hashim
Brewer
Thabit.
wide open looks and have me believe
Came in
he
in
was an
garbage
okay
time.
shooter.
Thabit was
He-
terrible.
Did
dude.
nothing. I remember when I was a Thunder fan.
Hashim Thabit
I remember when I was a Thunder fan. And I was looking at
It's
Hashim.
just you,
When I was a Thunder fan.
Oh my god.
No, when I was a Thunder fan and I was watching Kendrick Perkins play, I was just like, "Good God, can we please develop Hashim Thabit?" And he never developed.
Develop.
I had hope. I mean, he was really tall.
Develop Hashim
Nah,
Thabit.
bro. Nah, that was the funniest era, bro, of basketball. I'm
He
telling you.
was so bad at 2K, dude. Like on 2K, he was literally you literally.
But when
could
I
not
think of
play.
that era, I just always think of how good Roy Hibbert was for 2 years. And then the next year, he was averaging like 20 and 10 in the playoffs one season. And then the next following season in the playoffs, he was averaging like 3 boards a game at 7-2.
No, it was hilarious because that Heat team was so small.
Bro.
That Heat team was so small. It made him look like Shaq for like that series. Like it was
Bro,
literally
he was
like
eating that series.
Yes.
I was like, yo,
There- I mean, every
is Roy
play
Hibbert
was
the
like-
top 3 center in the league?
no. Every play was like clear out Roy Hibbert on the block down low.
No, dead ass. It was like, damn, we don't. It was like, what are we gonna do? We're gonna throw it to Roy Hibbert in the post.
Yeah, we're gonna throw the Roy Hibbert in the post.
That's barbecue.
David West short corner jumper.
Oh my god, I
uh,
hated those. Oh my god.
Anything,
Big pops.
anything
Oh
else
my
was just
God.
anything else was just broke. I mean, you had old, washed up Danny Granger. You had
high volume shooting PG.
high volume shooting PG, and then you had Lance Stevenson, who was like, you didn't know what
Hit
you're
or
gonna-
miss,
You
yeah.
didn't know what you're gonna get from Lance Stevenson.
So inconsistent.
He give you 15, 7, 7.
Lance Stevenson can give you a
Bro.
triple double, and then the next game go like 2 for 17, and have like
With,
7
like,
turnovers.
yeah.
He
that was a turnover.
go 2 for 17, but he give you
And
9,
foul.
10, 5.
And get a tech.
Bro,
No,
I miss
that's
that
the
era.
funniest basketball.
That was a
Like
hilarious
comedy.
era.
like you don't get the comedy of that era today. Like with Andrew, like you don't get Andrew Bynum today.
Yeah.
Like Andrew Bynum is like being the second best center in the league, and then his career going down because he hated basketball and decided to get injured going bowling. Like you don't get that.
Yeah,
People
you
are
don't,
too
yeah, you
serious
don't get
about
that nowadays.
He got injured bowling. Bro,
Too many people care about their craft today.
Bro, I
Like,
remember Andrew Bynum. They're like down 10 midway third quarter. Kobe swings the ball to Andrew Bynum, top of the key, and this is when they had Mike Brown as their coach. He shoots a 3, top of the key, down 10, and Mike Brown benched him. And then they asked him at the end of the game. They asked Mike Brown about the 3 with Andrew Bynum. He was like, I don't even know. He was like, you gotta ask Andrew about that. And then Andrew Bynum after the game, they asked him about the 3. He was like, yeah, I shot the 3. He was like, I do it again. I was like, oh, okay. This guy does not care about basketball at all, bro. Like he does.
now think about it. Nowadays, you could not have Kendrick Perkins would never be a starting center on any roster and any sane coach.
No.
I don't know because he was
Unless
still,
you're a
he-
team
no,
coached
he-
by
he
Kendrick
was-
Perkins, he's not starting at center in the NBA.
Nah,
right
he
now.
was, bro. He was getting PT.
I haven't come off the bench.
He was
I
getting
haven't
PT in 2018 with the Pelicans.
Yeah, I know. He was.
come off. Oh, he was.
He was.
So
Oh, but that was Alvin.
Think
trying
about
to
how.
run a
Think about how many
Kendrick
years.
Perkins-
two big men.
3 big men.
Kendrick Perkins.
Think about the coaching mental
Yes,
gymnastics you have to
James
do.
effect, bro.
Kendrick
Kendrick Perkins is a James effect. Like you don't know.
You don't know
have him
what he
out
does
there.
exactly, but he's there.
What?
You don't know what he does
Yeah.
exactly, but he's there.
He's there to set hard screens and
He didn't even rebound. He grabs
And
like
foul
5. He
hard.
grabs like 5 boards a game, and he's like 6'11".
Kendrick Perkins would still be like getting minutes today because he has the James effect. You need him out there.
Whatever reason, dude.
I think it's funny because Kendrick Perkins, he came straight out of high school. I was wondering. I was like, what the hell did he do? that the scouts saw, they'd be like, yo, this guy's good enough to go straight to the league.
They said they saw the James effect. They were like, "Yo, we need him on the court for some reason."
To be honest,
Yo,
I've never
he
seen
got-
a Kendrick
think about
Perkins
it,
highlight
He got
video.
injured.
Yeah, I've seen a Lowlights video.
Him getting dunked on by Blake Griffin.
No,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I've definitely-
You remember he's handling the ball in OKC, and then he's leading the break, and then he throws it to the left side. No one's there, and he just throws it out of bounds.
Bro, no.
Everybody's just looking like, bro, Kendrick, what are you doing,
This dude, I was a Thunder fan. I absolutely hated Kendrick Perkins. I was like, why do y'all keep justifying starting this man? He does not. He's terrible, bro.
What was that old white dude that was there for like 80 years?
Major.
Collins.
I think
Nick
we
Collins?
should
Nick
probably
Collins.
do.
Yeah, they should start.
We should probably do reaction videos. I think those would be fun to do. Like of like NBA like shit. It would be funny.
So
does-
like the highlights.
Yeah, like highlight stuff or just like with anything NBA
So just be
or
like,
low lights. Yeah, like
be like Great Value Flight.
yeah,
Bro.
exactly.
The guy in the picture of Kendrick Perkins dunking.
Kmart for like.
Look at how low he is.
Oh my god, dude. He's like rim crazy.
Is that Kendrick Perkins?
He's
God.
rim
This
Right.
is
crazy.
in 2005.
Oh my
That's
god,
his
he's like
athletic prime,
6'11".
too.
He's like 6'11", like rim crazy.
That's his athletic crime, 2009.
I was.
2005. He was young, bro.
All right, guys. Well, that's gonna wrap it up.
Yeah.
That was a good episode, good comeback episode.
Hey man, we recorded like 3 podcasts. We had some content coming, but
Yeah.
it just didn't work out.
Yeah, it's just been complications.
It just didn't work out, man.
But let us know if you would want to see like some like reaction videos. Those would be funny, I think. So
and too, we're gonna try to get back at this presidential debate if we can figure out.
If we can figure out a way to stream.
Yeah,
yeah,
because we did actually record one, but it was choppy. Like
It was choppy.
The second half, like the first half was pretty good, but the second half was like so garbage to watch. Like we just couldn't put it out.
yeah, we couldn't really put it out or anything. So
Really.
all right, well, we are out. Jeez.